Hello everyone, welcome to the first session of our playlist Introduction to DBMS. In this session, we would be getting introduced to the world of database management system. So I hope you guys are ready for this session. So without any further delay, let's start. Now first, we will be starting with a very important keyword which is data. Now for understanding what does data means, let's take an example. Now, today you have decided that you would need a dress for a party. Okay, so you choose a website which is Amazon. Okay, then whenever you go to Amazon, you can browse the section, but you do need an account, right, to buy something. So there are two conditions. One condition is you are a new user, so you would need to create a new account. Otherwise, you are an old user, so you can just directly log in. Now, once you have done this, right, the account part is completed, you can just choose if you are a woman, maybe you need a dress for a woman, or maybe you need a dress for a man, right? So you can choose a category. Then there are subcategories, right? What kind of dress you are looking for, what is the size, what is the color, right? So I will just say filters, okay, over here to simplify that part. Different kind of filters. Then you chose a dress, you found a dress that you want to buy. Now, after that, you will add it to your cart, right? And then you will go to the step buy, right? Now, whenever you need to buy something, there are some necessary things that you need to give to Amazon, right? First, a payment method, right? Maybe just for this example, let's consider an option where you're actually not doing pay on delivery. You are actually paying online. So this is pay online, right? Then the second thing is that you need an address, right? And some basic details, right? So this can be basic details like mobile number and everything. So basic details, okay? Correct. So these are some things that you need to provide. Okay, now this was the example that I was talking about. Now I think you didn't get my point clearly over here, right? Because now you will be asking me, how does this example tell us about data, right? How does this tell you about data, right? So now let me make you understand that. Now you went to Amazon. You are maybe an old user or a new user. This is data, right? You will create a new account, or maybe you have an old account. You will give some details. You will have a password, have an ID, right? So this is data. Now, when you went to Amazon, see, there are multiple filters, right? And from this filter, clothing items are present, right? So see, this is also kind of in data, right? What kind of dress is present, how much stock for that particular dress is available, what is the price by different buyers for that particular dress. So that all is data. Now whenever you went to buy, okay, now in buy, in the cart you have a dress, right? Pay online, again this is a data, right? What are your credit card or debit card details, or maybe UPI details? This is also data. Even your address and basic mobile number and everything is data. Okay, so all these things that I was just talking to you about in this simple example is data, right? And how can we manage this data? This is just a small example, right? But there are multiple users buying simultaneously, right? How does Amazon manage it, right? So all of this we will be learning in this series, which is database management system, where we will learn to manage data, right? So I hope you have understood what is data, right? And I have also given you an intro to DBMS, right? So now with this, let's move forward. So just give me 1 second. Let me scroll down a little. Okay, now the next thing that we need to focus is database. Okay, we got an idea what is data, right? Now let's move forward to database. A database management system is a software designed to manage and manage it, right? I have already shown you how much data there is, right? A small example. Now we need that data to be managed, and we need to manipulate that data according to our needs, okay, in a structured format. Now this keyword is very important over here, okay? Structured. The data that we are focusing over here is in a structured format. DBMS provides an interface between the end user and the database, okay? So you are over here, okay? Some data is stored in this DBMS, okay? Data is stored here, Okay, now how are you connected with this database? Okay, that is DBMS. Okay, this is a interface which allows you, basically gives you a pathway, gives you a bridge between a user and a data. Okay, allows user, what does this allow us to do? It allows us to store, modify, retrieve and manage data. Okay, so it will allow us to store, manage data. Okay, and modify as well. Okay, you can also modify the data. Okay, so basic terms, there is a user, there is some data stored in a big storage unit. Okay, and there is a bridge between the user and the data. Okay, that bridge is an interface which is known as DBMS, which allow us to store, retrieve, manage and modify the data. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Right, now let's move forward. Let me scroll down. Okay, I hope this much is clear to everyone. Now basically I am telling you about the features of database, right? But these features and their implementation will be discussed in detail later on, okay, in the upcoming sessions. Now there are some features like data definition language. It allows you to define the data structure, okay, in the format which the data will be stored. Data manipulation language, it will allow you to manipulate the data according to your requirements. Okay, query language, it is like basically a pathway that will allow you to access and modify the data. Okay, access, modify the data. Okay, next, data integrity, it will maintain that the data has an integrity, data is proper, there is no issue in that. Okay, and finally security, the data whichever you are storing in the database is secure. Okay, there is very high security for that. So with this, these are some features that I have just told you about, but again the implementation and in detail understanding of that will be coming in the upcoming sessions. Okay, now let's move forward. Okay. Next, there is a topic which is types of databases. Okay, so let's learn about them. Give me 1 second. Okay, let's start with the first one, which is a relational database management system. Now from this, get an idea that this is something like relationships, right? There is something that I can figure out from the word, which is relationships. So basically in relational database management system, the data is stored in form of tables. Okay, so the data is stored in form of tables. That means there are rows and columns. Okay, there are multiple tables. I'm not talking about one table, there are multiple tables. Okay, there is one table here, maybe one table here, there are multiple tables. Now there is a relation set between these tables in a particular database. Okay, in a particular DB there are multiple tables and all those tables are interconnected. Now how they have a relation? The relation is set using keys. Okay, so basically relational database is a database where the data is stored in tabular format in form of rows and columns. The relation between different tables is set using keys. We will be learning about this in detail in the upcoming sessions. I hope this is clear, right? Now let's see which is the next type, which is object oriented. Okay, so basically in this DB, the data is stored in form of objects. Okay, data is stored in form of objects. You can manipulate, modify and access the data. Okay, in using methods and queries. Okay, now another important point over here is because this is an object oriented DBMS, there are relations set using polymorphism, inheritance and everything. Okay, so in object oriented DBMS, the data is stored in form of objects which can be accessed using methods and queries, and there is relation set between this DB using polymorphism, inheritance, etc. The relation is set between them using polymorphism, inheritance, etc. Now let's move forward to the third database, which is hierarchical DBMS. Now this is something interesting. Okay, now when I'm telling about different types of DBMS, remember that we will be learning about all of them in depth. Okay, we will not just stop with relational DBMS, we will be learning about all of them. Okay, so now let's see what we mean by hierarchical. Okay, there is a node over here, then this is the child node, this is the child node. Okay, so basically in hierarchical DBMS there is a tree like structure. Okay, there is a parent node and then the child node. So this is the kind of DB that is built in hierarchical DBMS. Okay, a very important point over here is that there is single relation between two nodes. Okay, there is single relation between two nodes. Okay, remember this point. Why I am focusing on this point, that you will be able to understand when I tell you about, one second, let me cross this, right? When I tell you about network DBMS, basically in network DBMS, we are having a structure where there are nodes, and basically there are multiple relation between nodes. Okay, there is not a single relation, there is multiple relation between different nodes. Okay, so this is kind of a graph like structure. Okay, and in hierarchical we have a tree like structure. Here we have multiple relations with the we only have a single relation. Okay, multiple relation. The diagram over here is not very good, but I hope you got the point. The difference between hierarchical and network DBMS is clear. Now let's focus on the last DBMS type, which is NoSQL, and this is very important. Okay, now if you remember, I gave you an example about Amazon at the start of the session, right? Now Amazon follows a NoSQL DBMS. Okay, now just think, I gave you a short example, right? A small example, not short example, a small example, and in that also the data became complicated, right? But think, in a single minute, okay, all around the world, just for an example, 1 minute 10 lakh users are buying something, or maybe more than 10 lakh users, more than maybe I will say 20 to 30 lakh users are just, just browsing the website, right? So see the amount of data that they need to manage, that cannot be managed in a structured format, right? When I'm talking about NoSQL, I'm talking about unstructured data. Okay, right? The data is not structured, but we are managing it. Okay, we are managing and modifying it, and all of this is possible due to NoSQL. Okay, so basically all the e-websites, right, e-commerce websites, or maybe Netflix that we are talking, all these websites use NoSQL DBM. So with this, I hope you guys have understood about different kind of databases. You got an intro about data, then database, then you learned about features, and now about different types of DBMS. With this, we will be ending today's session. But again, like I have just mentioned you, we are not stopping with just relational DBMS. We will be learning about object-oriented DBMS, hierarchical DBMS, network DBMS, and NoSQL DBMS, all of them in detail. Okay, so stay tuned for the upcoming session, and thank you for watching.